Welcome, bit riders around the world. My name is Gary Solomon, and you're watching the Laid Back Bike Report. Well, so glad to have you all with us today. Let me tell you what we've got in store on today's show. First of all, heading out to Fort Collins, Colorado to visit with Precision E-Bike. Our pal Josh Kerson is the owner there, and he not only runs that shop, he has been involved with recumbents and building bikes and e-bikes for a very long time. He's got a new one that we're going to actually show you today. So we look forward to talking to Josh a little bit later. He's also with us live today. And then in our next segment, we have a couple of friends of mine, Doug Davis and Cobus Burger. They are famed as Velonauts, of course, and they actually took their velomobiles to the Hott'rn Hell 100 ride in Wichita, Texas, or out of Wichita, Texas, a couple of weeks ago. It's a famed ride that has, I guess, thousands of riders. They're going to tell you all about the ride and their experience there, seeing if they could pass roadies, all kinds of fun stuff. So we look forward to talking to them. And Doug and Cobus is kind of with us live as well. So we'll talk to them a little bit later. First, let's meet our crew today. Let's see, Larry, who's with us? There we go. Now, first of all, there is Larry Seidman. If he looks kind of laid back to you, just because he's on his trike. He never leaves his trike anymore. I don't know. He just, it's practically like they're joined at the, oh, they are joined at the hip. Larry, thanks for being on the show today.
We did some redecoration, and I got my new desk chair inside.
Yeah, that's got to be comfy for you. So, all right, well, just don't start pedaling because I need you to direct for the rest of the show. All right. Also, don't forget to get Trey in there. Where's Trey? Anyways, Peter Stahl is in New York State. Peter, the bicycle man, is with us. Hi, Peter.
Hi.
It's great to have you.
Looking forward to this show. I'm looking forward to the new e-bike, recumbent. See what that's going to be. Purpose-built e-bike. Cool.
Going to show you all about that. So. Great. And there is Doug Davis. Doug, of course, been on the show many times. He's going to be with us for that second segment. Doug, good to have you with us from Dallas.
Always good, Gary.
Thank you. And there's Trey from Raymond, Mississippi. Trey's handling the banners, and I don't know what else he's going to do. He may take a nap. I'm not
Party noises, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, Trey. Good to have you with us.
Copyrighted.
Great to be here.
Be careful, because YouTube will take us right off the air. All right, guys, thanks so much for helping us out. Let's tell you now how you can participate in today's show. We have a live chat going with YouTube and on Facebook, so please avail yourself of that. You can make comments. You can ask questions of our guests. And as always, let us know where you're watching from. We always like to find out where around the world you are while you're watching the Laid Back Bike Report. Now, how can you support the Laid Back Bike Report? You can do that by liking us on Facebook, subscribing to us on YouTube. Click that little white eye up there, and you'll be able to go to the laidbackbikereport.com website, where you can find out lots more about us. You can buy a hat. You can learn about shows in the past and what's coming up. You could become Patreon members like these guys for as little as $1 a month. All those things that help us out. So we hope you will do that. Now, speaking of helping us out, no one helps us out more than our wonderful sponsors. Let me tell you who those are right now, Larry. TerraCycle. Why sit up when you can lay back? TerraCycle engineers the recumbent essentials to take your ride to the next level. Find us at t-cycle.com. And Trailside Trikes, a fine recumbent trike shop on the Withlacoochee Trail in Florida. And TerraTrike Green Speed. Your vision, whatever it is, TerraTrike has a trike to take you there. And Green Speed cutting-edge designs create performance through Aussie ingenuity. And Laid Back Cycles, your go-to store for cat trike, ice, terra trike, and now AZUB recumbent trikes. They ship nationwide and offer financing to get you rolling. Plus, check out Laidback Mickey on YouTube for all the latest tips and reviews on recumbent trikes. And Bicycle Man, where you can find new and used recumbent trikes and bikes. We're located in Alfred Station, New York, and have over 100 bents in stock and ready to try. So why wait? Come ride, then decide. And AZUB. The team at AZUB is proud to offer the latest 5th generation Bosch Performance CX motor. The CX offers 250 watts of nominal power and up to 600 watts of maximum power, and 85 Newton meters of torque. The optional dual battery system has an impressive range of up to 200 miles. This system can also link the electronic shifting of the roll-off gearbox, something that no other motor but Bosch allows. To learn more about all this, visit azub.eu and feel free to configure your dream trike. And Connecticut Yankee Peddler. We feature multiple brands of trikes, including electric assist models. Test rides in Southern Iowa hospitality are always available at our mega store in Chariton. And Stein Trikes, where comfort meets performance. Engineered for adventure and built for the journey. Check out stein-trikes-us.com to learn more. And Honza Bikes. We have recumbents, cargo bikes, hand cycles, tandems, and trikes for all ages and abilities, including the new Catviesel 1. Hey, that's great. Thanks to those amazing sponsors. And Honza Gala, speaking of AZUB, is not with us today, unfortunately. So Honza was greatly responsible for that 25th anniversary of AZUB event that they had there in the Czech Republic last week. I'm sure he's probably got his hands full cleaning up from all that, or maybe exhausted from it all. But we wish him the best, and Honza, hopefully we'll see you on the next show. So with that, let's jump into our first segment. It is with Josh Kerson from Precision E-Bike in Colorado. And Josh is going to tell us about his past and how he got involved with recumbents. And they're going to show us the new recumbent E-Bike two-wheeler that he's been working on. So Larry, let's have a look. With me right now is Josh Kerson in Fort Collins at Precision E-Bikes. Josh, thank you so much for joining us on the Laid Back Bike Report today.
You bet. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, great. So the reason we have Josh on is because he has been working for a number of years on an e-assisted recumbent bike. That's kind of unusual and very interesting. So we're going to talk about the background of that and where he is today on that and show it to you. I think you guys are going to like all this. So before we get into that, Josh, maybe you can tell the folks a little potted history of yourself and your biking and how you kind of encountered recumbents and that sort of thing.
When I was young, I started out as a BMX kid in the neighborhood and started fixing and building bikes and started selling bikes off of my mom's front porch. Started racing BMX at Whip City, and then I got my first bike shop job in the summer of 11th and 12th grade, or 10th and 11th grade, in a local bike shop. I was able to True Wheels, and they hired me, and I got to work over the summer there. And then I bought my very first professional mountain bike frame from Slingshot. Greendale Bicycle Company took me on and sponsored me as a racer. I started racing mountain bikes back in the late 80s. And I kind of got out of racing. I wasn't really into the whole this person's better than the other. I really like just going out and group riding and going out with our friends and pushing ourselves to get better and better. And then in 1999 at a bicycle trade show on the East Coast, we went to this booth from Shimano, and they had 25 electric bike demos there where they were showing some really neat electric bike projects from Panasonic and Mitsubishi and Yamaha, and the light went off, and oh my gosh, this is the future. Okay, I get it now. And so I got off the hill and stopped skiing every day, and I went back to college and got myself into UMass and Hampshire College in Massachusetts. Amherst, Mass was a really nice area. And I got to study entrepreneurial business and appropriate vehicle design in a program called University Without Walls, where you're able to set up your own course of studies. And so I studied the bicycle culture. I studied how to hand make bicycles. And I got to go to Holland for a semester, and I got to go and see these really amazing velomobile companies out there. And that's kind of really where I got into the recumbents. And then we were able to start hand building bikes at Hampshire College. They had a neat program there called the Lemelson Assistive Technology Development Center, and they had a machine shop, and we could get grants, and I got a lot of grant money to be able to build all different prototypes. I started with a solar pusher trailer that would connect onto any bike. And that would be the very beginning of the full package of solar panels, battery, motor, controller. And then it would click onto the back of the bike and it would push you around. And we actually put it onto a recumbent trike for a fella. And that worked really well for him. Then I started building tricycles. I went into recumbent trike building, really studying about how do you work with the steering system, how do you deal with kingpin inclination, Ackerman steering, and really cutting and welding and TIG welding frames together and working with that design. And then I went a little further and tried to get into the pedal generator systems, and we really did a neat study on a system that would be a chainless system. And we really learned a lot about the efficiencies of mechanical conversions.
All right. Now, I just have to stop you here, Josh, because I don't know if you're aware or not, but like pedal generating systems are like really centered on our radar here lately at the Laid Back Bike Report. Last month's show, we did kind of feature 6E, the French company that has a pedal generator system. I was actually at the end of the interview going to ask you if you were familiar at all. Obviously, you kind of got into this early, so maybe we'll take a minute here and segue into this pedal generator system. Are you familiar with the latest of what's going on with that? I was wondering about your thoughts on it.
I am, and I think that their breakthrough was really putting the power from the generator directly to the rear wheel, and we had possibly made the mistake of putting it into the batteries and taking it out of the batteries and then running it through the controller, and then we had a lot of losses on the conversions, but it was an exciting time. I really thought about the idea that the cyclist could just have the perfect spin. They could just sit at the right cadence and just dial it into 80, 90 RPM, whatever they liked, and just run it consistently, whether they were climbing a hill, going downhill, at a stoplight, whatever it was, they could just spin at the right speed and produce energy. And so for us, we had maybe taken on a little too much at that point, trying to learn how to build frames and deal with geometry and then to get into the electrics. We studied it for a year, and we found that, unfortunately, at the end of the day, we were only capturing maybe 12% of the rider's energy to the rear wheel. And so we went back to the chain because we really love the mechanical efficiency of traditional bike chain or belt drive, where everything that you put into that pedal goes into the rear wheel, propelling you forward. And so,
Josh, so let's finish that out, and then we'll continue on with that. So, with what you know now of the latest versions of the pedal generator systems and the software simulating that pedal chain connection feel and such, what are your thoughts about the success of that sort of system in the next, say 5 or 10 years? You obviously are big into e-assist, so this is going to affect you one way or the other, I would think.
I think it's very interesting. Okay. And there are times when I'm grumpy about it, and I'm like, you just can't beat the chain. And then there's other times when I'm like, well, no, let's continue thinking about it and working with the idea of, if you have a generator here and you have a motor there, it should be really, really efficient. We must be able to do it. And then if you get into the buck boost systems where you're really bumping up the voltage out of the generator so that you have a higher voltage coming into the motor, you might be able to get it to work. I am hopeful. Where we were at the time back in 2001, we weren't as advanced as they are today. And then we met Andre Fuchs. We had him come in from Germany years ago, and he showed us a system, and it was really an electric powered bike that had a generator that would add some to the system. And so I think that the critical aspect of it is, can we get the rider's energy truly out at the rear wheel without much waste at all? And if we can get that to be really, really super clean, then I do agree that it does have a lot of potential in being able to work with all different types of systems. And so for me, I really love the idea of a solar human hybrid. And so I like the idea that you've got solar panels that are on the top that are adding energy. You got the rider's energy at a consistent level adding energy. And then you have a battery bank underneath that is going to be adding energy. And the combination of all of that is going to be the most efficient form of local transportation known to humankind.
Absolutely. Okay, great. I appreciate your take on that. And they claim the efficiency is there now. So I think very shortly we're going to find out if that's the case. So, but let's go ahead and go back to your story. So so you had the interaction with the pedal generator. So let's take the story up from there.
So we actually went back to the bike chain at that point, and we were working with a company called New Vinci at the time, and we were running a pedal drive system that would go into a New Vinci infinitely variable drive, and I really got to develop what we called the spin cycle from Runabout Cycles. 2005, we launched a little company called Runabout Cycles, and we were hand making electric recumbent tricycles, and it was really fun. We went all around the country and we interviewed a lot of people, and we got a lot of really good feedback, and we were very, very happy with the design of the steering system. That I haven't seen really duplicated yet. We might work with again someday, but and so for us, it was all about getting the extra energy directly underneath the rider in the center of the trike for the very best center of gravity, and had a really nice steering system that your hands would just move forward and back, and it would just steer so sweet. I was studying with a fellow named Mike Augsburger from One Off Titanium. Went out to Boston to study with a fellow named Bill Darby with Special Purpose Vehicles, and really dialed in that steering system so there was no drag, and that was a real accomplishment. We had disc brakes up front, and at the time it was just a throttle system where you would pick out and choose how much power you wanted to use. And so I felt that it worked really, really well. It was really fun. And so over the next couple of years, we produced about 30 of those. I had built up a machine shop, and we were hand producing with lithium iron phosphate batteries, the safest batteries that we know of. And I did have a couple of solar charging stations that was really fun to work with. And we had customers from all over the country. We got it out to California and Washington and in Massachusetts and in Florida. So 2008, we were in Interbike in Vegas, and basically a talent scout had come up to our booth and had asked a bunch of serious questions, and it was interesting, you know. And then a month later, we got a letter, and they said they'd like to hire us and to work with a company called Aerobic Cruisers that was just forming down in Memphis, Tennessee. And so we flew down to Memphis and talked with their fearless leader, and looked like a very exciting project, and we decided to join up. And so the next week they sent a tractor trailer truck and a moving team, and we moved the entire machine shop from Massachusetts down to Memphis, Tennessee. And we started working for a fella who had done very well in the cattle and grain industry, Charlie McVean. It was a very interesting character, and they brought us a napkin drawing of a bike that they wanted to build that would have the comfort of a Honda Goldwing, but the efficiency of a bicycle with electric assist. And we took that napkin drawing, and we started doing some mechanical drafting and produced a scale drawing, and they liked that a lot. And so we started building proof of concept prototypes and started building some frames and putting all the components on there. And so Aerobic Cruisers was very interesting, where, you know, we were building a dozen prototypes for this company of a semi-recumbent electric bike where we're running the power down to a mid-drive and then running it through an Evinci rear hub. And it was a long wheelbase, and we went full suspension. And that's when we contacted Randy from Rands, and we started buying seating systems from him. And he flew down and took a look at what we were doing and said, you're onto something here. And then he took us up to Kansas and started showing us a very interesting rotisserie welding system that he had been developing for his light aircraft. He also made, Randy of Rand's Bikes also made light aircraft, and they had these giant rotisserie welding apparatuses that were really amazing. And so we hired them to build us a jig and fixture to reproduce this frame for us there. And he made a beautiful fixture and made a few frames. And then unfortunately in Memphis, we got into a conflict where the owner of the company really loved the bike. I mean, he rode it every day. He just got into it so much. And then he gave it to his friends, and they started getting really excited about it. And then he just really wanted to go faster and faster. And we got into a conflict where, you know, I needed to try to keep it in the electric bicycle world, where at the time we had a limit of 20. They didn't have class 3 at that point. And so he wanted to go up into the 30 miles an hour area, and I needed it to stay in the 20 miles an hour area. And we had a difference of opinion where, he wanted to, hit 35 or 40 sometimes. And it was just out of the range of what I believe to be a bicycle with a light electric assist. And so we actually left and moved up to Fort Collins and started rebuilding Runabout Cycles again. And so we made a few more electric trikes again, and didn't make it too long. We just didn't have the financial ability to really continue the development of it. And then I got involved with a company called Small Planet, and we opened an electric bicycle store in Main Street in Fort Collins, which was fun. We had my machine shop there, and we were building bikes and selling bikes. And that was really fun. That was in 2010, 2011. And I was really working with city council on a weekly basis, trying to help them understand why they should allow bikes with light electric assist onto the multi-use paths. And so I got really involved with working with the mayor and getting access to the trails. And ultimately it took a meeting at the park where we just let them ride some electric bikes around the park, and the light went off, and they said, "Oh, this is like a bike." And we said, "Yeah." And so, so the city of Fort Collins did a trial run and got their bikes, got electric bikes allowed on the bike path. And then we had a falling out with Small Planet over ownership of the company and all, and unfortunately. And so we moved on again, and I actually took some time off and went and did some other work. I worked for a company called Lightning Electric Motors, and we were converting vans into electric. And so I became a supervisor there and was teaching people how to do wiring and working with electric motors and batteries and chargers, and looking at larger electric vehicles. And that was pretty fun. But then they got kind of drunk on money and made some claims that weren't going to be possible for really fast growth, and that company got shut down. And so 3 years ago, I said, I got to get back to my bikes again. This is what I do. This is my life, and I really wanted to get back into it. And so I said, let's do Precision e-bikes as a service station for electric bicycles, where what I see now, because back in 2010, we would talk for 45 minutes and somebody would walk away with the idea of like, well, why would I want an electric bike? I have a bike. I don't need an electric bike. They didn't get it. We were so far ahead of the curve. We didn't even know. And back in 2012, it was still difficult to sell an electric bike because people were really stuck still on the same idea that, it's just for exercise or something.
Well, then I think maybe this is a good time for you to show us what is going on there. Maybe you can take us around, give us a little tour, and then at the end, we're going to take a look at what you are working on right now. That's really what we want to talk about today.
You bet.
All right. Let me get you on a full shot
to my
here.
Shop.
You go ahead.
I'll just kind of move it around, and this is we've got a pile of bikes that we go through every week. I've got an area where we do a lot of testing on batteries. We've got a full repair shop to be able to do conversions and really work on bikes. We've got some new bikes that are for sale. We carry Aviton and Rad Power and Blix and Big Sur. And so it's kind of a small shop, but boy, we've got a lot of product coming through. This is a bike that we have just done a conversion on. And then this green bike is my latest project. We're doing a semi-recumbent electric bike now. And so this is kind of most exciting aspect of my project right now.
Josh, is there you called it a recumbent e-bike or whatever? Is that the name of this bike, or do you have another name for
it? Good question. Thank you.
Because I'm not in love with the name recumbent e-bike.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah, so that's in process, right? I mean, so the company I'm working with right now is in Shenzhen, China, and they have they started out with a company called Thunder Cycle, and Thunder Cycle is a really interesting company that's doing a lot of prototyping right now. And so we thought we would name this the Thunderbolt. We had a great roller coaster back home called the Thunderbolt, and the idea of making your own hills of riding, it seems like it could work. But yeah, we're still, I mean, it's all in development, right? I mean, so Thunder Cycle was at a trade show in Denver where I met these folks, and really nice family in China that basically their father had made some real money mastering the warehouse inventory management system for very large companies with robotics and scanning systems and stuff. And so the son, an engineer, had some ability to do what he liked and started working with making electric bicycles. And so he's got access to some amazing facilities to be able to develop and produce electric bicycles. And so we met up in Denver, and he gave me a few bikes to ride, which I really enjoy a lot. Carbon fiber, mid-drive, full suspension, electric mountain bikes. They're just fantastic products. And so they've got a good connection with the company Bafang, and Bafang is arguably the largest electric bike component manufacturer in China. They make really high-grade component mid-drives, and they make hub motors by the millions, and they're doing a fantastic job. And so we really like Bafang. We like their full system. And so they started. They said, we have the manufacturing, you have the passion. Send us the numbers, send us the drawings, and let's build your bike. And so I started working with them a year ago with drawings and showing them the bike that I would like to produce again. And for me, this design is very important in that I really love a semi-recumbent in that the seating height is a little higher, and you're maybe at a 45-degree angle over the pedals where you can still get a little bit of your weight onto the pedals as you're pushing against the seat. And you get the aerodynamic efficiency slipping through the air. You get the ergonomic efficiency, really being able to sit upright and see well and breathe well. And then you get the mechanical efficiency of running the power through the bicycle drivetrain, and you get the electronic efficiency of running a high-grade brushless motor system with helical cut gear reductions that deliver quiet, smooth, controllable power. And so all of these combined together make a really great package, and I really like it. And so the first prototype came out fairly well, and we started to work with refining it, and we continued to develop our ability to communicate. And the second prototype was so much better. Oh my God, it was amazing. And now I was like, okay, we're really getting close now. And then we worked with it again for a couple more months, and they had developed a larger engineering team and took it really seriously and started asking really good questions. And we made some really nice refinements. And then this new bike came out. We got this spring, and it hits all the it checks all the boxes. Like, I mean, the thing I love about this bike is how it feels when you're riding it. And for me, it's all about creating an experience for the rider, you know, and it's like flying. I mean, you know, the way you can just tilt this bike into the curves and lean it over and with the right height to pedal through the curve and to be able to zoom around town. It's just a wonderful thing.
So Josh, the bike that you showed us a couple minutes ago that's in your shop, that is then prototype number 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you're talking about. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep. That is version 3.
Okay.
Took it out yesterday, went for 35 miles, and really had a great ride. It still had 55% battery left when I got back, and you know, we're still refining it a little bit. I mean, we're kind of working with the final decisions as to. I would like a 9-speed or a 10-speed instead of a 7-speed. I would like a little bit more choice for the pedaling cadence. But I really love the motor. I love the frame. Like 99% of it is dialed in now.
Okay. So I guess what I want to know, so you have a number of these prototypes. I guess I want to get a feel for where you are and where we're going and how much time that's going to take. So sounds like you're pretty close from what you just said. So you have a few prototypes. You're going to want to sell those maybe and see what, get some feedback and then go. So the next step will be more of a final product you expect, and how long do you think that'll take?
I think that this bike here is already good enough. This is like a good bike. Like, it's already good. Like, I'm happy with what we have already. It already hits the mark, but you always want a little more, right? And so I would just like a little bit more for a little bit of refined choices in your pedaling speed. And so if we went to a 10-speed instead of a 7, I think that it offers a little bit more product for the customer. But no, this is really done. Yeah, this is ready.
Okay. So I get the idea, though. So you're almost there. You're only talking about refinements in the future. So the big question then that remains, I think, is the whole sales and marketing. So what's the plan here? How are you going to sell these things? Who do you think would be the target market? Are you going to be looking for dealers? You're going to go online sales? How is this all going to work?
Well,
the toughest question so far.
These are good questions, Gary. These are good questions. Thank you. I appreciate the ideas. And I think that that's really where the challenge is for me right now. What we really need to do, in my opinion, right now is we're going to relocate. And we're going to get at least 12 to 1,500 square feet. And I need to hire a couple of young techs that have bicycle mechanical experience, that have interest in electrical diagnostics. So some people that can really train. And then some people for sales. We've got so many people coming in looking for new bikes. I need to have a good, successful electric bicycle store as a basis to work from. And so I feel that next year in the spring, when we set up that new store, we're going to have a group of these bikes as rentals to get feedback from people, and we'll be doing sales directly from our store. And I have the ability to buy these in groups of 5, 10, or 20 units. So we're going to start with 5, and we're ordering our first ones, and we're going to be able to start getting people out on them and getting feedback from them. I like to let it grow organically. I don't want to infuse it with a lot of artificial funding and
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I think the last thing to talk about is financing, right? Obviously, this is an issue. You got to figure out what that. You already talked about the company that wanted to grow too fast, and I think it sounds to me you might have learned a lesson there. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they had claims that they were going to grow by 600% in the next year, and their investors took them to court and said, how are you going to pull that off? 600%. They already had 250 square feet and 90 people working. We're doing 90 vans a quarter. You can't ramp up 600% in a year like that, right? So you have to have a reasonable amount of growth. And so, in my opinion, I'd be happy just to sell maybe 30, 40 units a year just to get started and get a feel for, get a group of people who really like it and are into it. I'm not opposed to the idea of putting them in bike stores around the country. If other dealers are interested in carrying an electric hybrid recumbent bike, I think there's a market for it. I think there have been a few companies that wanted to do it and never really took it that far. What I have as an opportunity right now is a manufacturer who can just put out units. And we have a product that's been developed with years of development, if you actually include all the aerobic cruiser and everything that went into it. It only took me a couple of years to pull this one together, but it took decades to get to that point. And so for me, I'm very comfortable with this particular one. And I think that it's going to really grow in different models. I think that we're going to be able to do bigger, better, faster, more, right? I mean, everybody wants to do 100 miles. Well, we're going to need a bigger battery pack. Well, people want to do 28 instead of 20. Well, we're going to have to run it as a class 3. And, and so there's going to be changes, developments. And I think that the most fun part is working with the public feedback as to, when we ran the trikes, we got some really great feedback. And I had some fans that would really build some nice machines. Like, I would set out this unit for them, and then they would get the wind wrap fairing on the front and, scrap the tires that I had put on there and invested in, really high-end hoops, really lightweight rims and high-pressure tires and a little bit bigger everything, and dialed it in. And then from there, the next model really developed. And so I think that I would like
that's the path that you kind of want to follow with this bike as well, which makes sense.
I'd like it to grow organically.
Great. And you seem to be the guy that knows so much about all this. I think your expertise is quite clear. So that's exciting. So let's finish up then, Josh, with finding out how folks can know more, learn more about this, maybe pick up one of those prototypes you have now, or maybe talk to you about something they want in the future that you're going to work with. What's the best way to contact you and find that information out?
Well, I recommend that everybody really checks out our website, precisionebikes.com. That is got a wealth of information of the history of what we've been doing over the years, and soon we'll launch a page for this new project. And I did just sell one of these bikes. We've got a customer who got very excited, took it out for a ride, went around the park, came back and said, "Oh, that's me," and he's bought the first one. And so we're going to place our order for the first 5, and 1 is spoken for. I would like 2 on the floor for rentals. So maybe I got, another 2 available that I would let go to the right people who are really interested in this particular design. And then as it builds up, we're going to go to Cab to West next year. I'd like to go to CycleCon. I'd like to show our bikes to people and get it out there in front of people. And we have the ability to order container loads.
if things
So-
really go well, you can really
Yeah.
ramp it up. It sounds like.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, Josh, thanks so much for sharing the news about the recumbent e-bike and your history, which is very interesting as well. I wish you all the success in the world. I hope maybe we'll get a chance then actually to meet you in about a year at CycleCon next year. It'll
Sounds
be in
good.
my neck of the woods, I think,
Sounds good.
then. So,
Yeah.
so it's been great talking to you, Josh. We'll keep an eye on what you're doing. And thanks again for sharing the story of precision e-bikes on the Laidback Bike Report.
Very good. Thank you kindly.
All right, guys, there is Josh right now in his shop in Fort Collins. Josh, hi. Glad you could join us live today.
Hey, thank you. That was fun. That was fun to watch. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so look, right behind you, there is the bike we've been talking about. So I've got a couple of questions here that people have sent in. Josh, did you have anything you wanted to add to the video that we just saw that you wanted?
No, not really. I mean, I guess a little news. Our team from Shenzhen is coming out to visit us on the 20th, September 20th. That'll be really fun to see them face to face and get out on the bike and ride around the city park here and talk about a couple of little changes that we want to make as far as getting the gearing right, and then possible options for a couple of different models with different accessories and whatnot. But yeah, we're excited. I can't wait to see them. So
Okay. All right, let's start out with this first question, which is not directly related to the bike behind you, but it is something that you talked about in the interview, and I know something that you're interested in. So it's about solar cells, and Daryl wants to know about, can solar cells keep up with the energy drain of the cycling? So if you could address that and maybe say a little bit more about what I know you've dealt with solar cells and incorporating them into the bike's propulsion in the past, and I think that's something you're interested in. Talk a little bit about that, will you?
yeah, so I love the idea of a solar charged electric human hybrid where we take the best efficiencies of everything. Over the last 20, 30 years, the solar industry has taken huge leaps forward in reducing the cost and improving the power output. You combine that with the leaps forward in the pedal drive systems that are available today with the torque sensors on a lightweight recumbent electric bike. I mean, we're talking about the best efficiency of all. And so, but for me personally, I really like the idea of kind of a solar recharging station. So this is just a little model of something we would like to do where the batteries go in the bottom, and maybe there's a bike rack in the back where they park the bikes, and then the solar panels sit in the sun and they charge all day, and then you'd come back and park your bike at the recharging station. I think that could work really, really well. When I was in Holland, they had a really great bicycle shed out behind the hotel, and it was really advanced. It was very simple, but it was very advanced, where you park all your bikes in there and you plug them in and you let them charge all night, and you came back out in the morning, they were dry because it rains all the time, and unplug it and go out and ride all day. We went from Schiphol into Amsterdam and back again. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. So I think like a solar recharging shed might be the right idea, because you need some space to be able to capture enough energy. So I think right now we're at about 1 square meter might collect 1 kilowatt of energy in one day. And so that would charge 2 e-bikes, which typically are about 500 watt batteries. Maybe some of the bigger bikes, 600-700 watts these days. But yeah, depending upon how much panel you use and how much battery you use for capturing and holding on to that energy throughout the day and then recharging the bike, I think solar recharging stations could work really, really well, where you are out there riding on fresh, clean juice as an electric human hybrid with solar energy.
Josh, it was just to finalize your thoughts on this. Where would you envision these being? Would this be like a civic? Would this be a community thing? A small towns, cities would gather the funds to build these for their community, or maybe a more commercial thing? Some large, big box stores or whatever would maybe put those up front. Where would you see these?
I think something like this could really be on campuses, at schools. I think it could be in the city centers where you would come and ride from outside, and you'd come into the city and you would park and recharge while you did your thing in town. I think you could have some at your house in the backyard where you have for your own bikes, for your own family that would be able to recharge off of the sun. I think that it could be along the bike paths, that could be in remote areas that don't need to be connected to the grid. So these really long bike paths that don't really have many service stations. If you've ever been on the Natchez Trail down in Mississippi, Tennessee area, you can ride for hundreds of miles. So you need places to charge if you're going to be doing electric cycling, if you're going to be touring. And so I feel like you could set up solar recharging stations in the city, in remote areas, and in homes. And I would really love to see that spread all around the world.
Sounds like, yeah.
You could drop them into areas that are very remote, and people could have a little oasis. So if you know of an oasis where cyclists are riding to anyways, drop one in that area, and then they could recharge during lunch or something like that.
All right. Free energy from the sun. You can't beat it. I think those are great ideas. And the Natchez Trace, I have ridden it. It's a great place that ends up in the backyard of our buddy Trey in Mississippi, as a matter of fact.
Beautiful trail.
Yep. All right. So one more question here, if we can. Mike Smith talks about the rack that's right behind your head there being incorporated into the frame. And he says he also thinks that would work well with a chainless drive. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that design as opposed to strapping on a rack. Why is that built into the frame?
Thank you. I appreciate this question. I really like the idea of the rack being incorporated into the frame for several reasons. Number one, I love the stability when you have an add-on rack and it's a little bit loose and it kind of wiggles, and it adds more wiggle to the whole bike. This is very, very steady state, very, very well supported. You can load it down, let's say more than 100 pounds. But there's a trick here as well. The reason why this goes back so far is because you can actually park your bike vertically up against the wall, like in a garage, and it'll sit on the tailbones of this rack, and it creates a little triangle. So you can pop a wheelie and put it up against the wall, and it tucks it away into a nice spot. And so there's a couple of different reasons why we're using that. But also we are protecting our lighting system. I know you can't quite see it right now, but we have a lighting system with a blinker on there. And so if you get hit from behind, it's not going to break that. In the unfortunate opportunity to, it's going to have a little bit of crash protection, but mainly it's going to be able to hold weight very stable in a stable fashion.
All right. Well, let's clean up here. I've got a few more questions since I looked at those. Mr. Trite, are the frames steel or aluminum?
So this is an item that's still being addressed, in that these particular prototypes were made in steel. When I made all my bikes back in the day, we were running 43 chromoly steel. I love light aircraft materials for that. And that's how we got started for the prototyping. But I do believe that we're going to evolve and go with aluminum and make it lighter. I'm working with them next week, actually, to really talk about that and the annealing process to be able to get it to really last a long ways. And so, I think that It could possibly be made out of both steel and aluminum as two different versions, where the steel one could have a lot more ability to be modified in the future if we wanted to continue prototyping. But I think that the general real target is for the riders to have a lightweight aluminum frame that just is not going to be suspect to rust in areas of the world where we get salt water and whatnot. And so, we'd like to go to aluminum.
All right. And lastly, Russell Zahner just chimes in. He's late, but he says there's such a thing as a West Coast Green Highway project. On that website, I guess, is a browsable map of different types of charging and alternative fuel stations. So, yeah, might be worth looking into that as well.
Very cool. So, absolutely. Very cool.
All right. Let's see. And front and rear fairings. Any thoughts of fairings on this?
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not sure if Windwrap is running or not. If there's still somebody producing the Windwrap, then you could put a front fairing on it for sure.
I think our buddies at TerraCycle are doing that. So just, I don't know, you might want to chat with them and see.
Yeah. So this would accommodate a Windwrap fairing on the front for sure. When I went to Portland International Raceway and we did an efficiency run, I had one of these with the Rand Stratus that we had modified, and I had a full Windwrap fairing in the front, and then we had a tail that was really, really coned out, and it just slipped through the air. And then it was a cloth fabric that went over the whole thing. We took second place. We did 30 miles in 1 hour on 13 watt hours per mile. It was amazing. But anyways, yes, I like the idea of fairings. I'm not opposed to that at all. I'd love to see it. I think you could really add it on from the back of the seat by the rack and put a tail on there. And I think you could easily attach onto the front. I like the Windwraps, but you could probably do something a little bit smaller too if you wanted to. But I'd love to see that develop.
Okay, I was going to end it there, but I see Peter has messaged me. Laura, you want to pop Peter up here? Peter, you can ask the question. You got to unmute yourself, bud.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Hi, how are you?
Good. So you talked about the steel frame being more water, wouldn't rust, right? Well,
I would like to say that the aluminum frame.
The aluminum frame. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Would be a lot less prone to rusting, and so we like aluminum for that reason, for sure.
So I've thought that the E-kit would outlast the steel frame would outlast an E-kit as far as waterproofness.
Okay, well, I don't know that. I mean, in my mind, pretty much every bike that we sell, I think of it as it's going to last at least a decade.
Yeah.
And with that, the battery will have to be replaced once. And so if you buy the bike and the second battery 5 years into it, you can get a decade out of it. And I believe that motor system will definitely run a full decade. And so I think that the motor system will at least last a decade.
Okay, I guess my question is it waterproof enough? If you park this, ride it in the rain enough that that steel would be a problem, is the E-kit going to survive that?
Oh, yeah. The Bafang system is so super advanced. If you ever get an opportunity to look at the Bafang motor production interviews on YouTube and look at the water testing that they do, it is a phenomenal system that can make it through the rain. It is really tested thoroughly and made with really fine precision parts that are sealed up against the weather. We call it water resistant, but and you should never submerge it underwater.
Right.
But other than that, you can ride through the rain and it will last, I would say, at least a decade. This is high grade, professional grade equipment.
We installed a kit on a bike for somebody, and they washed it, and they brought it into the shop not working, and there's water running out of the battery case.
Okay, so high pressure washing is very, very difficult for any electric bike.
You know, they did it at home, so we don't. They went on a trip, and their father was home with it, and they think maybe their father took it out and washed it. But
So there's a couple of reasons why most of our electric bikes get damaged from water. One of them is riding on the back of a car at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah,
The water gets pressed in and it will ingress into the battery or into the screen, or high pressure washers. Even a garden hose I would consider to be a high pressure wash. I always recommend using Windex and a cloth and hand washing it. And then if you're going to travel, you really want to put a plastic bag over the screen, the display on the handlebar, and possibly the battery itself, or bring the battery into the vehicle. Because if you're doing 70 miles an hour and you get caught in a thunderstorm, it's likely that within the next 3 weeks, that bike is going to come to a stop. And so water ingressing is really high pressure. But like the Dutch have shown us, running their Bosch systems in the rain for years and years is fine as long as it's not high pressure.
Okay.
All right.
So the next question I have is, with the integrated rack, will the bike pack into a box that's UPSable?
I'm going to say yes. I don't remember the name of the company that dropped these off. They are coming in a wood box with a pallet underneath it. And so when I have received the bikes, we used a company, I think it was called Seiko, Seko, and it came pretty much completely assembled. We had to put the pedals and the front wheel on, and the saddle, the seat,
Right, sure.
But other than that, it was pretty much all completely built up. And yes, they will be able to deliver anywhere in the United States.
From a marketing standpoint, the cost of end delivery from your warehouse to the customer, if you're sending that sounds like less than truckload box truck. I would guess it would cost us $400 or $500 to ship a box that size. Now you'd be a bigger business and you'd get better discounts, but that's something to look at. And the other thing, you talked about getting 5 bikes from China. Can you ship bikes by air with batteries?
I'm not sure of that. All of our equipment have come over on the water and have been on ground travel. And so ground deliveries really is the safest way to go.
Yeah, and it's the least expensive.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes, and hope I get a chance to ride one sometime, maybe at the bike show in Ohio next year. Yeah,
we're looking forward to that. I really like the idea of going to CycleCon, having a couple of our units there and getting people out to ride them. We'd like to go out to Cab de West in Vegas as well and do a ride out there. Yep.
Very good.
Okay.
Good
Thanks,
luck,
Peter. Good questions, of course. You would know those things, or you're involved in selling bikes yourself, so and manufacturing. So.
One of the reasons we went to folding linears was because I got sick of trying to put big bikes into boxes that were UPSable. Trying to stay under the 130-inch, it was a nightmare. But we had to take the fork off, for instance. So with the rear frame folding, no problem.
Neat. Very interesting ideas. Oh. Yeah, with all the cargo bikes that we've got coming through right now from Rad and Blix, and we got big boxes being shipped right now. So this bike doesn't look so big next to the big cargo bikes.
Good.
All right, thanks, Peter. All right, Josh, I see one more. Let's do this quickly because I keep getting more questions, which is great because people are interested in this. Loopy Dude, what's the chance? These are asking about 3 kinds of options: pinion gears, belt drive, under seat steering. Any ideas about thoughts about maybe implementing any of that?
I like 2 of the 3. I love pinion gears. I love internal hub setups. The Alpine 8 has worked really well for us in the past. I'm not entirely opposed to a roll-off 14 speed, but I feel like it's almost too many options. You just don't need that with the electric assist. I think 8 is really kind of the sweet spot. The Alpine 8 works really well for that. I like the belt drive. I'm not opposed to that. It is a long distance, but I believe we could make that work. The third one was the under the seat steering. Yeah, not so much. Yeah, I don't know how to really incorporate that very well. I really like the upright handlebars for myself personally, mainly when you're going through corners. I really like the feel of it. I'm not opposed to them entirely, but I don't see how I could really incorporate that into this design at this point. But the other parts, I think they could be a good option for several different models, right? And so we could have some that ran an internal hub, or maybe the New Vinci infinitely variable drive Enviolo with the belt drive works really, really nicely. And so I could see some of those options becoming available in the future.
Sounds good. Well, Josh, thanks so much, pal. I really enjoyed working with you, talking to you, learning about what you do. I hope the audience appreciates it as much as I do. So please stay in touch with us. Keep us updated on what the latest developments are. And if nothing else, we'll hope to see you next year at CycleCon anyways. Huh?
Hey, thank you kindly. That was fun. I really appreciate it. All right. I can't wait to get you on this bike and get you out riding. I love seeing people come back with a smile on their face.
I've been known to head out to Colorado for visits from time to time, as Larry knows. So we may make that work. So thanks again, Josh.
Stop by anytime.
Okay, pal. All right, folks, we're going to move along to the next segment here about the Hott'rn Hell 100 and Doug Davis and Cobus Burger, who rode that a couple of weeks ago. Let's have a look at their experience right now, Larry. With me right now are two of my buddies, Cobus Burger in Denver and Doug Davis near Dallas. And they are with me today to talk about a race they both participated in a couple of weeks ago, the Hott'rn Hell 100 in Wichita, Texas. So, Cobus, Doug, welcome to the Laid Back Bike Report.
Thanks, Gary. It's good to be here.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, guys. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to start with Cobus. We're going to get a little idea about who he is, and then we're going to talk about the race. Then we'll talk to Doug, and then we'll kind of have a little discussion about some of the interesting things that happened and their observations of each other. So with that, let me start here with Cobus. Cobus, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you kind of got into recumbent biking.
Sure, Gary. Well, I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, the most beautiful city in the world. I came to the States in the early 2000s, and I've been cycling pretty much all my life. I got interested in velomobiles maybe 5-6 years ago. I had my first velomobile, which was a Quattrovelo Plus, and it was an interesting adaptation from riding my Ice VTX, which I use for pretty much everything, and triathlons. I actually know Larry Seidman from doing triathlons with him. After the intro to the Quattrovelo Plus, I decided it's a little bit too big for me, so I ended up getting a Quattrovelo, which is this guy right here, and follow that up with the Milan next to me on the left. In my professional life, I'm an airline pilot, and I'm based out of Salt Lake City, so I commute there several times a month. And when I'm here in Denver, I like riding the trails in the area, specifically the Mary Carter Greenway Trail and the Rio Grande up from Glenwood Springs to Aspen and back. That's what I do on my recumbents.
Beautiful. Now, you mentioned the Quattrovelos and the Milan and the VTX. So is that the totality of your recumbent collection?
Much to my wife's dismay, no, it's not. I actually have my latest edition is the Slyway Ultra, which you can actually see. Let me just tilt this up. Right up there. There it is. And that is my fourth bike right now. I actually had a cruise bike before, which I sold to a gentleman in Alaska, and I understand he's enjoying it a lot. But recently, I've just been riding the velomobiles.
Okay, good. Well, that will take us right to the last major thing you rode the velomobile in, and that is the Hott'rn Hell 100. And I know you were very excited to go and race there. And from what I saw on Facebook, you had a great time and a lot of fun. So I was wondering if you take just a few minutes and describe for our viewers what that experience was like for you.
Yes, I've been interested in going to the Hott'rn Hell 100 for a few years now after I saw a video of Doug riding his Quattro there, and there was another gentleman with I think it was a white and red Quattro Velo, and he had a little Ferrari emblem on it. That got me interested in it, and I signed up, and it took me, the drive down was about 10 hours or so, I think. The ride itself was, I think the event itself was very well organized, and luckily on the day it wasn't all that hot. It was maybe in the low 90s with later on a light breeze and overcast, so it was actually quite pleasant. And I'm happy to say that most everybody that I interacted with at the race was super enthused about the Quattro Velo being there. I got a lot of thumbs up and, hey, that's a cool bike, as I go past the roadies. And at some of the aid stations where I stopped, a lot of the volunteers came over and chatted. There was one young man who was very interested. He asked a lot of interesting, thoughtful questions about the bike. And even the drive down and the drive back up, stopping at gas stations, there were a lot of people who came over with little kids in tow saying, hey, can you tell my kid what that thing on the back of your truck is? So it was, all in all, a very interesting trip down. The race was great, a lot of great people. The roads, I was surprised that the roads were in such good condition. They were very, very smooth. One little section that we had a detour on was a bit rough with some, I think, chip seal, but that was only maybe about 10 miles out of the whole 103. So the rest of the road was really, really good. And yeah, it was all around. It was a great event. Really enjoyed it. I have to say thank you to Noelle, who organized the race. She helped me with last minute getting signed up for the Golden Wheel. So I moved from the halfway down the 1,500 cyclists up to the front where I could start next to Doug. And I saw Doug all of about 5 minutes until he took off like Batman chasing the Joker, and saw his taillights for a couple of miles, and that was it. But yes, it was a great race. Really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to going next year.
All right, Cobus, thanks a lot. I think at this point, maybe we'll get Doug's story here, and then I'll bring you back at the end, and we'll have a little talk about the time you guys did get a chance to see each other. So thank you for that story. Let's put you back there. And Doug, yeah, so pretty much everybody knows Doug Davis. You've been on the show so many times, and what a great contributor you are to the Laid Back Bike Report. But maybe if you can, just briefly, tell folks about, your past, your bike shop, the velomobiles and all.
Let's just start the Hott'rn Hell. We'll kind of work into that because there's some backstory. The Hott'rn Hell started in 82. I did my first Hott'rn Hell in 84. I have missed 2 Hott'rn Hells in the last 40 years that they've done it. So I know the course well. There is typically a race that is in parallel to the rally. Now, as velomobiles, we're not allowed to race, but we'll get into that in a second. Every time you get on a bike, it's a race for some of us. I first rode the Hott'rn Hell in 84 on a road bike. I first rode it in a recumbent in 1999 on a Vision, which was after I had been in the hospital for some pretty bad surgery from a bicycling accident. And then I rode the Hott'rn Hell on a velomobile the first time in 2012. And I have ridden it on trikes, bikes, time trial bikes, and velomobiles. So I've done it almost everything you can possibly imagine. I even did it a year on rollerblades. So I have done the Hott'rn hell on pretty much almost anything vehicular-wise. As far as recumbents go, I don't even know how many recumbents I've got, closer to 25, 30 here in the house. Don't even want to count them. It would be embarrassing. I have 6 velomobiles still that are set up for me. I chose the wall mainly because I knew Cobus was going to bring his wall, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to have the 2 of them. It's a 100-mile course. The fastest I've ever done it is 3 hours, 24 minutes on a DF. The Quattro Velo this past time I did it in 3 hours, 47 minutes. Last year I did it with 3 hours, 42 minutes. And that kind of goes to 2 things. One is the difference in the temperature. It was quite a bit cooler this year. And that will make a difference on a velomobile over that distance. And I had been suffering from an Achilles surgery that I had back in last October. And this was kind of my first, and it's surprising for me, this was my first 100-mile ride this year, was to do the Hott'rn hell. I've been in rehab, I've been in PT, I've been working my own to get myself back in shape. So the time difference between the 2 years is, to me, almost as shocking as the fact that I actually went out and did it. So that said, I said earlier, my wife normally rides it. She didn't ride it this year because she's had some of her own health issues. So what happens when you get old, you have health issues. But she will be back out next year, where she's already started talking about her training plan and things like that. So we'll both be out there next year for sure to do the same thing. The format of this, and as Cobus talked about a second ago, you've got different, I think, remember they call it, they're starting gates or heats or something like that. The racers go first. Then there's a delay. Then the golden wheels go. Then there's a delay. Then everybody else kind of goes based on their distance. The golden wheel package is, if you pay more money, you get some perks, one of which is you get to go first, and the other is you get your own set of restrooms, which if you stop, that's an important thing for some people. There's also some other, meals and other kind of funsy things included in it. It's worth the money just to start in front to avoid the traffic, in my opinion, but that's just me. The racing group last year was more of a pace group. They didn't have an official race. And if you watch the videos I've got on YouTube, you'll see that I catch them around mile 7 and I catch the second group at mile 11. This year was an official race. They had some serious racers. I talked to a couple of them. It's nice to know that I'm more than twice the oldest racer's age. And I caught them at mile 40. So that'll tell you a difference at how much faster they were in this kind of semi-pro race than where they were the year before, where I was catching them at mile 11. And then there's some video that will show you what it looks like when you cross the racing group at those speeds in your velomobile, and they all look at you like there's some kind of foreign object on the road. And so there you go. I finished again at like 3:47. It was an average of 27 miles an hour. After that, I crawled out of the bike, collapsed in the back of the van, and basically slept for about another 6 hours or so, and then we drove home. So it was good. If you ever get the chance, I think this is the USA has a ranking every year. USA Today has a ranking every year. The Hott'rn hell is either 1, 2, or 3 the last 10 years in the bike events you need to go to. It is absolutely worth it.
And something like 10,000 riders.
Oh, yeah. This year was small. This was a small year. They only had 9,600 riders. The small year. It's the smallest since 2007.
Wow. Okay.
Usually there's 14 to 15,000. The starting lineup is 7 miles long.
So just to be clear, the race, then they are at the front. They go. Yeah.
They go.
And then the tour is behind that, right?
Right. Well,
that's all you guys, and that's segmented into those segments where you talked about the golden wheel, which gets to move up front, and they have the golden toilets and the golden porta potties.
They are yellow outhouses.
I think
they are really.
That's awesome. It'd be worth it just for that, I think.
Well, trust me, my wife, she does the same thing. She loves that because she knows they're clean. They haven't had 10,000 people go through them. So, and she is not one to ride like I do. She doesn't ride 100 miles straight. She's going to ride, stop, enjoy the snacks, enjoy the scenery, talk to people, and use the facilities, which there are plenty of. That's the other thing about this is every 8 to 10 miles, there's a rest stop. So that if you're going to ever do a 100-mile race and you're not used to doing it, or 100-mile rally, this is another good one because there is so much support. You can't get lost, and you can't in a situation where you're too far away from water or help or first aid or something like that. So you do get a lot of first-time 100-milers on this thing that are in the rally group, and so that's good and bad. That's also the reason it's worth going for the Golden Wheel, because you don't have to worry about trying to deal with them out on the road. But for somebody who is just now starting 100 miles, or it's their first 100 miles, it's a wonderful rally for that. And there are at least, I know Mike Keel and there's a couple other guys that have these Couch to 100 programs that they start up every year where they train people to do the 100-mile, and the Hott'rn Hell is their graduation present.
So they're just couch potatoes, and then they graduate by actually riding a century. That's cool. There's a big. I know there's one in Oklahoma City. I know there's one in Dallas. Yeah.
I think there's one in Houston where these coaches have got these programs called Couch to 100.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I have to second what Doug just said. The rest stops every 10 miles or so were fantastic. The volunteers were all super friendly and enthusiastic, and being able to get a nice ice cold slice of orange and pickle juice, if that's your thing. It's not mine.
It's not mine either.
I had one by accident, and I found which one was the Gatorade real quick after that.
Yeah.
But that was really good. And like that Doug said, you can't get lost. The route is well, the signage is very good. I try to make a point of every time there's a police officer, I would fist bump them on the way. They were all very happy about that.
Doug would have done that as well, but doing that at 27 miles an hour could be painful for both of them.
No, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know what it is. I've got a reputation because I've done this a number of times. They all know I'm going to come peeling through there. And so the police officers, several times, and you'll see it on the video if you watch, there's a good one at like mile 75 where they know my name and they're out waving and, what have you. It's pretty funny.
It's also if I understand correctly, Doug, it's also the case that you did not take advantage of the golden toilets or any of the rest stops. Is that fair to say?
That is fair. I have not. It has been more than 5 years since I've stopped at a rest stop at the Hott'rn Hell.
Right. So yeah, complete century in the velomobile, never stopping. That's
I usually right now. Well, before I had my accident, I was good for about 150 miles without stopping. Now that I'm not quite as my endurance, at the 100-mile point was about the point where I needed to stop. I'll be working my way back up to something approaching what I had before my surgery this year. And my plan next year is I'm going to take one of my faster velomobiles and see if I can set set another record. My 324 is the record for anything human powered. I want to see if I can beat that. That'll be my plan for next year.
Where do you go?
Thinking of taking that?
I will probably take my DF. That's the fastest bike I currently own. That and my Milan. They're so close. And the course, because you've been on it. The roads are so smooth, except for that one, chip seal farm road that we had to get on because of the construction, that really the Milan can do really well, except for the rolling climbs where you have to, where you go around burn it, you got to make the turns. That slows the Milan down because it's heavier and you got to speed it back up. I have not been able to beat my DF speed on the Milan because of that area. If you look at those statistics, the Milan is faster everywhere except that last. It's not the last. It's like the 20 miles before the 20 miles. So it's the last 40, front 20 of the last 40 miles where you're going through Hell's Gate and all that, and there's all those little windy roads. That right there, I've seen it on the analytics tools, is where the Milan loses its average speed, where the DF keeps it up, because I just can turn it faster.
I just posted on one of the Velomobile forums on Facebook about the issue with the rumble strips for me.
Yeah.
Because the Velomobile is so much faster, I did pass a lot of people, and I was very hesitant crossing over the middle, the center line, and having to go over the rumble strip. The back end of the Quattro was a little loose there at times, but I'm a little worried next year if I take the Milan here, how to navigate that. Maybe you have some advice on that.
Yeah, so I think Joseph replied to you. He would give you the same advice I'm going to give you now, which is get a stiffer dampener in the back. That's what we've done on a lot of them. My wife, on her wall, I will pump the shock way up on it because you need to let it. It's going to bounce, it's going to, but you need to have it bounce and not try to recover on its own. You need to just let it happen, and then you just back off the power and keep going. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, on the Quattrovello that I ran, I do have stiffer than normal dampeners in the back for that very reason. So I can hit the rumble strips at full power. It will jar your teeth. It will make all sorts of noise, but the bikes seem to be able to handle the energy transfer okay. So I've been doing it for years that way. You can get I think Velomobile NL will sell the stiffer dampeners, but I can send you a link on the ones I got off of Amazon that are, they're just as good.
Will they work for the Milan as well?
That I don't know. Your Milan is what? It's a Mark 6 or 7?
It's a GT Mark 7.
Mark 7, maybe. I know it will work on the early Milans because that's what I've got.
Could you not just pump up the air bladder in the back to a higher pressure?
You can do that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. Bump up the air bladder and then take a half a bar or so out of the rear tire.
Okay.
That's how I would mitigate that, and practice it some if you can.
Well, yeah, I think getting some heat acclimatization beforehand would be good, because if you've got the Battle Mountain hood on that thing and it's 100+ Fahrenheit, it's gonna be toasty in this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so the other thing we did when we crossed the country, I made my wife go out to an area not too far from where we are at the Hott'rn Hill and practice going across rumble strips. So we would go downhill. It's over in Graham, and we would go down this hill, and at the end of the hill there were cattle guards, and at the end of that then you went up another hill, and there were rumble strips that were cut across. And we did like drills until I was confident that she could handle those crossings well enough to be able to do the USA cross country we did a few years ago.
Now, my understanding is that you did that with Angel on your anniversary by way of celebration. Is that exactly what it was?
Yes, we did. That was an anniversary celebration.
You romantic fool, you, Doug.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Let's.
Velomobile crossing was our romantic. That's the definition of insanity right there.
Right. At the very end here, I wanted to talk to Cobus briefly and let folks know what he is actually up to next. Cobus, don't tell me you're going to Disney World. This is not the question. Where are you going next?
Well, tomorrow I'll be driving from Denver over to Salt Lake before continuing on to Battle Mountain, Nevada. I would like to participate this year in Battle Mountain, first time. I was there 2 years ago as a looky-loo spectator, and I found out about the event several years ago and was corresponding with Alan for a while until I actually had an opportunity to go. And I found it fascinating. It's really exciting. It's interesting to see all the behind the scenes and what guys are doing and how dedicated the teams and the students and everybody, including the professional athletes that some have, for the race. So this year I'd like to participate and just set a benchmark for myself. I'm under no illusions whether I'm going to set any kind of record. I told Marika Lichtvoet that I'm aiming for the 25 mile an hour hat. And she said, well, the hat's only start at 50. So,
There's your goal right now. There's what you got to hit.
I think if I go half speed, I should get half a hat. So we'll see what happens. But the idea is I just want to go and enjoy the event, hang out with a bunch of awesome people there, learn from everybody how to set up the bike, what tweaks you can do to make it faster and just enjoy a week of racing at Battle Mountain.
What are you going to bring? What are you racing?
This thing right here, the Milan GT Mark 7, aka the Leg Borghini.
The Leg Borghini.
Yeah,
there it
team,
is, folks.
team Leg Borghini will have the loudest color on the field, I think.
Yeah, probably so. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world. I know you're going to have a good time one way or the other, and hopefully Cobus will talk and maybe get your thoughts after Battle Mountain on what went on there and how you fared, and maybe some of the people that you met. Of course, we've been there a few years ago. It's just a wonderful experience all the way around, whether you're racing or watching or volunteering. So we're big fans of Battle Mountain. So good luck to you there, pal. We wish you a lot of luck there.
Thank you.
And Doug, thanks again for sharing your thoughts on this. I know you're wishing Cobus good luck too.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish that was Cobus. I'd love to go out to Battle Mountain.
You should. You can probably set a record in your Quattrovelo the way you rode.
I've got almost the power I used to have. Maybe next year we'll see how things play. I've got a Battle Mountain bike that I could run out there. I've got a rotator Coyote still.
Well, you heard it here. Doug will be at Battle Mountain.
No.
That's a commitment, folks. We'll keep playing this back until they actually
There's
go.
something wrong with this.
Yeah, there we go. Well, hello. All right, guys. Thanks again for sharing the stories of the Hott'rn Hell 100 and Cobus on the Battle Mountain coming up. So, guys, thanks again for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, Gary. Bye, Doug.
Thanks, Gary. Take care, Cobus.
All right, guys. Well, there's Doug, and yeah, we
change shirts.
That was nice of you to do that.
Yeah.
I think we've got Cobus on audio. Cobus, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear you fine, bud. So Cobus is actually on his way back from Battle Mountain right now. He's driving, so that's why you're not seeing his face, but we hopefully will have audio so we can ask him a couple of questions on this. So thanks for joining us. All right, guys, I have got one comment on the Hott'rn Hell 100. Let me just pop this up kind of for Doug, and then we'll finish up talking about Battle Mountain if we can. So Mike Mowat from Michigan, a good friend. Doug, your speed of 27.3 for a century is as good as his 1 hour best on any recumbent, and he rides some very fast recumbents in the last 5 years, Mike says. So he is sending kudos your way.
Yeah, Mike's a strong rider for sure, no doubt. And I have a significant aerodynamic advantage than he's probably having on his regular recumbents. So, I would not put myself in that same class.
All right. Well, nonetheless, it was a great performance there, Doug. So, all right. Let's jump over to Cobus. Cobus, if you can hear us okay, I know this is difficult. You're somewhere in the middle of Utah, I guess, driving. Can you tell us just briefly, how did Battle Mountain go for you?
Yeah, Gary, I'm somewhere between Salt Lake City and Green River, so I might lose signal here. But yeah, Battle Mountain was fantastic. This was my second time going, my first time competing and volunteering. I'll get to that in a bit, but all in all, it was a fantastic experience.
Okay. Now, you were talking about getting some video and maybe sharing some of this with our audience. We obviously are not going to do that today, but do you have something? I'm just wondering if maybe we could put something together for next month.
Yes, I have tons of video, pictures. I have some interviews you asked me to do, and on the World Human Power Speed Challenge Facebook page, myself and a lot of the other volunteers and organizers like Arnold and Marika Lichtfoot, June, they've all been posting during the event. So there are tons of pictures and
okay.
From the British Human Power Club that were there, they posted a lot too.
Okay, yeah, we kind of lost you for a second, but you're back in there, so that's great. I don't want to extend this too long because I don't know if we're going to lose you. So Number one, just to say I'm very excited about what you might have shot on video. We will talk as soon as you have some time, and we'll put something together next month to show our friends. In the meantime, yeah, they can go to Facebook and check out the World Human Powered Speed Challenge website, maybe, Facebook page, maybe your Facebook page in through there, and kind of see what's happening in the meantime. But I've been keeping track of what's going on there from the posts. It's very exciting stuff. So we're interested in hearing what you have to say. So let me just give you a chance to say a final thing and maybe a quick summary of what you saw or highlights, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Highlights for me personally was obviously being able to compete. I jokingly said I was aiming for 25 miles an hour, but after several runs, I managed to get 43.84 miles an hour, just missing the 45 mile an hour qualification for the 5 mile run. So that was exciting. On a personal level, I managed to I learned a lot about modifying the bike and getting it faster. And I also met a lot of the guys that I've been following on Facebook, like all the riders from the British Human Power Club, Russell Bridge, Slash, aka Steve, Niklas Bostelman, who helped me a lot, Bill and Peter, and the guys from the Dutch team, David, Francois Pervy, and Guillaume, the professor on the French team. It was really interesting, really exciting, and I would highly recommend any recumbent cyclist who's interested in going fast to go to the Facebook page and come and attend the event next year. We need volunteers, we need organizers, we need riders, and I'll send you everything I have, and we can chat, and you can include it in your next show.
Look forward to it, Cobus. We really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me in touch. Thanks for making the effort to join us the best you could here. And Doug, anything else for you before we sign off here?
No, not yet. I'm trying to figure out how I can schedule a trip to Battle Mountain in now, since you guys have committed me to it.
See that? Yeah,
Yep.
he's hopelessly engaged in getting there now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as you said, Gary, we have him on video from the previous interview. He's hooked. He's hooked.
That's
now.
right.
And one last note: there were two gentlemen who helped me in the beginning because I went solo. Rick and his brother Jeff, they helped me out for 2 days, and they are now hooked too. They're looking at plans on building their own bikes to come. And also a big thank you to the guys from the 77 team, Barney and Twed, and they also helped me when I needed volunteers. So thanks a lot.
Some good guys there. And Barney, of course, has been a correspondent for us many times. He always sends me pictures from wherever they're racing with a laid-back bike report hat. He did it again this year. We'll show that maybe next month too. So, all right, Cobus, Doug, thank you so much. Really interesting stuff. We look forward to what's happening next month with you guys. So you guys take care.
Thanks, Gary. Bye, Doug.
Thanks, Gary. Take care, Ghost. Be safe.
Okay, guys. All right, folks, just rolling towards the end here. I wanted to remind you that if you have any sort of coverage of an event or pictures of your bikes or something that you're working on, please send it to us. We'll try to get them on the air for you at our viewer submissions, in our viewer submissions segment. You can send all that stuff. Contact me at laidbackbikereport@gmail.com. All right, finalizing the show, of course, again, we could not possibly do this without the amazing sponsors. And Larry, let's show the folks who they are.
TerraCycle. Riding comfort, style, and laid-back bliss. At TerraCycle, we've been laid back since 1996. See more at t-cycle.com. And Trailside Trikes. If you find yourself in Florida near the Withlacoochee Trail, check out Andrew's shop and his amazing crew. And TerraTrike Greenspeed, the best in leisure, performance, adventure touring, electric, and portability. Wherever your adventure leads, TerraTrike will take you there. And Greenspeed, where Ian Sims Designs bring performance through science and engineering. Laid Back Cycles, your go-to store for cat trike, ice, TerraTrike, and now AZUB recumbent trikes. They ship nationwide and offer financing to get you rolling. Plus, check out Laid Back Mickey on YouTube for all the latest tips and reviews on recumbent trikes. And Bicycle Man, where you can find new and used recumbent trikes and bikes. We're located in Alfred Station, New York, have over 100 bents in stock and ready to try. So why wait? Come ride, then decide. And AZUB. Check out the new Bosch Performance CX motor system. AZUB is the only mainstream recumbent brand to offer this top-of-the-line e-assist. Head to your local dealer and try it out. And Connecticut Yankee Peddler. We feature multiple brands of trikes, including electric assist models. Test rides and Southern Iowa hospitality are always available at our megastore in Cheriton. And Stein Trikes. Fully suspended and with 4 inches of travel over each wheel, our colorful trikes will have you gliding over rocks and curbs with ease. Wild one, I think I love you. Check out stein-trikes-us.com to learn more. And Rad Innovations. We have recumbent trikes, hand cycles, and tandems from Honza, AZUB, Ice, Cat Trike, Rad, and more for all ages and abilities.
All right, guys, our next Laid Back Bike Report coming up October the 12th. So we hope you guys will join us at 2 p.m. Eastern, as always. And we'll make an announcement about what's going to be on that show. We're going to probably talk about Battle Mountain, as I said a little bit earlier, and maybe some other stuff as well. Now, how can you support the Laid Back Bike Report? If you enjoyed what you saw today, we would appreciate you supporting us with liking us on Facebook, subscribing to us on YouTube. You can hit the like button down there. That would help us out. And you can head on up there and see that little white eye. You can click on that. It'll take you right to the laidbackbikereport.com website, where you can learn so much more about us. You'll see what's coming up next, what we've done in the past. You can see all our past shows. You can find our audio podcasts there. And if that's the way you'd like to enjoy the Laid Back Bike Report. So lots of stuff to do there. You can even become a Patreon like these folks right here for as little as $1 a month. So we'd appreciate your support in any of those ways. All right, Larry, pop the crew up here, or whoever else is left. There we go. All right, guys, it was a wonderful show. Really enjoyed seeing you all, working with you all. Larry is still ensconced on his arrow. Look how comfortable he is. Look, if anyone is still watching and they have not tried a recumbent trike, just look at Larry's face. This is what happened.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Terrific. So thanks to all of you guys. And mostly, I really want to thank all of you out there watching the Laid Back Bike Report, as you do every month. We really appreciate it. So until our next webcast, from all of us here at the Laid Back Bike Report, so long, bent riders.